What is the highest obligation of the person who has amassed a great fortune? Carnegie believed that wealth should not be possessed by a small number of individuals without a sense of social responsibility. He argued that wealthy individuals should serve as trustees of their wealth, making certain that these resources are utilized for the benefit of society. Carnegie encouraged the wealthy to invest in institutions that promote knowledge, self-sufficiency, and social progress instead of accumulating wealth for personal use or passing it down to their inheritors. He held the view that wealth should be allocated in ways that enable individuals to improve their lives through education, cultural institutions, and public infrastructure. Carnegie also rejected the idea that wealthy individuals should pass away with their wealth intact. He is well known for having said that the man who dies thus rich dies with grace. This perception emphasizes his conviction that wealth needs to be actively redistributed during a person's life instead of being amassed for the benefit of future generations. He regarded inheritance as a wasteful application of wealth, contending that inheritors frequently expend their fortune instead of utilizing them effectively, such as implementing substantial estate taxes to motivate wealthy people to contribute to society before their death. Why does Carnegie take a hard line on charity? Carnegie took on a firm position against indiscriminate charity despite him supporting philanthropy. He argued that providing the impoverished with money without a long-term solution was not effective and could be harmful. As per Carnegie, direct charity often fostered dependency and did not effectively resolve the fundamental causes of poverty. Rather, he held the view that wealth should be utilized in order to create opportunities for self-improvement. He regarded education as one means for this purpose, since it equipped individuals with the necessary resources to lift themselves out of poverty. Carnegie's position on charity was also a depiction of his belief in meritocracy. He believed that those willing to struggle and improve themselves should be provided with resources to thrive, while giving the impoverished money without conditions would not bring about significant change. He placed a high value on self-reliance and regarded wealth as a means to support those who were committed to improving themselves. This perspective continues to be relevant in contemporary debates regarding philanthropy and social welfare, such as the emergence of impact investing, in which donors support initiatives that yield enduring economic and social advantages instead of merely providing immediate relief, reflects Carnegie's concepts. In paragraph 7, Carnegie refers to the highest existing type of man. Whom do you think he is referring to? Whom would you mean if you use that term? Carnegie mentions the highest existing type of man in paragraph 7 of the Gospel of Wealth. This expression embodies his vision of self-made capitalist who is socially responsible, one who attains financial success while recognizing the moral obligations that comes with wealth. According to Carnegie, this individual is not merely a wealth accumulator, rather, they utilize their wealth to advance societal progress. Carnegie was a representation of this idea, having ascended from a lowly background as an impoverished Scottish immigrant to become one of the richest individuals globally. He regarded his success not only as a personal accomplishment, but also as a chance to uplift others through strategic philanthropy. If I use the term highest existing type of man in today's context, I would refer to those who utilize their resources and influence for the benefit of society. This includes philanthropists such as Bill Gates, who has contributed billions to fight worldwide diseases, poverty, and inequality. Overall, Carnegie's depiction of the highest existing type of man acts as a paradigm for ethical leadership and responsible wealth management. It encourages people to reflect on their use of success and resources, emphasizing that true greatness is derived not only from financial accomplishment, but also from creating a lasting beneficial effect on society.